All
Your
right, let
money
me
is
turn
off
this
this app.
down. I have to turn this crazy show down that's playing in my ear from Vigo to tell you guys hello. This live stream is probably going to be super short, um, just because the information that you see on the screen, it's not too long or whatever. It's burning up hot out here in Alabama, but that is okay. All right. Really? We already have a viewer in Rumble? So, listen, first of all, I have to tell you what is going on right now. So, I am learning how to use the Rumble Studio. So, right now, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitch, and we are on YouTube. And that's amazing to me because I didn't even know Rumble had a studio until I was looking up multi streaming to different platforms. Now, it's supposed to pick up Facebook as well, but it did not carry through. So instead of trying to figure out what was wrong with it, I just, went straight forward and I was like, let's just do this because I don't have all day. So I'm seeing how all of this is working. The studio, we've got live chat, we've got studio, we've got campaigns, which I did not do. And there is a button up here. I don't know what this is. Oh, stream direct. Currently streaming to Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. It says normal stream is available on all platforms. You can do all platforms or you can do Rumble only. So it's got a little button for that. Um, the studio gives you graphics that you can add and you can use if you want to use graphics like that cute little girl right there. Um, and so, and if you wanted to, pull all the way, over and hide everything, it can. So it's got viewership stats and it's also got a donation banner. If you do donations, it has a place for overlays, it has a place for video clips, it has a place for your background, it has a place for your audio clips, and you can loop it. And unlike StreamYards and Restream and all this other stuff, it doesn't cost you a thing. So far, we're getting this for free in the Rumble Studio. Yeah. So I can't believe that. I was just like, wow. So I was, checking all this stuff out. I was looking at everything and I was like, I need to do a live stream, especially on YouTube, so I can tell people, what's up, how this is going, like what's up with all of this. So I made a little doc in Google so that we could go through this together. So these right now, currently, this is what I'm working with, right? Of course, YouTube, which is always going to be, the king, right? Then we've got TikTok, which still is a little iffy for me. And I say that because I don't have TikTok on any of my apps. I go through my laptop and I don't have TikTok downloaded on my phone or anything like that. It's just, I open up a tab, I go to TikTok, and if I want to stream to TikTok, I'm going to have to use one of these apps, which we will talk about soon. And if you have any questions about this stuff, put it in the comments. I'm going to see if I can, see you guys' comments and stuff. Because, like I said, this is my first time using Rumble Studio. So I didn't even know this thing existed until earlier today. So if you want to talk to me, you have questions while we're going through the list, just, put it down below. So if you're like new to live streaming like I am, this is going to be pretty interesting, right? So, and also I probably need to be monitoring YouTube while I'm talking to you guys. So we talked about YouTube, talked about TikTok real quick. The next thing that I discovered that I'm using is Kick. Now, the reason that I chose Kick is really plain and simple. Kick is awesome. I'm not even gonna hold you. Kick is awesome. It has not been hard to, use. Every single element has been, easy. I use Streamlabs for it, and it's just been great. Now, the reason that okay, good. We got great sound. Awesome sauce. It's just, Kick has been great. Um, I really haven't been watching to see how hard it is to grow, but they do have a Discord. And there are a lot of other Discords that I'm going to talk about in part two of this, probably Monday, because I had no idea that there were Discords out there that you could advertise, that you could connect with. Hey, Blue, you can, do so many things with these Discords to grow your family, to grow your social media, and that made me feel a lot better because I am brand new on Kick and I just started streaming on a couple of other platforms, which I will tell you about in a minute. But I was just like, thank God. So maybe I can reach a wider audience, get people to come into my live streams. Maybe it'll force me to make a schedule, and then I put a schedule together for other platforms and go forward. And I do have a schedule for my podcast, so that's one thing that I have out of the way. So and podcasts are pretty easy, Blue, and everybody out there, because um, if you want to give yourself a time stamped schedule for your podcast, it would be an upload schedule. So it's kind of more flexible. If I just say I'm doing this podcast on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as long as I have it uploaded by a certain time, I feel okay about that. But live streams are live streams, and you have to go live at a certain time every day in order for people to say, you know what, my girl is coming on at 5. I used to do a show called Live at 5 on TikTok, like about 3 years ago, me and another girl, and it was okay. But the audience that we wanted to grow, it wasn't so much, only because people are just getting off from work, at 5 o'clock. Wives are cooking dinner at 5 o'clock. So who's your demographic? You know what I mean? Like, who do you want to stream to at 5 o'clock? Like, who's going to be at home besides school age kids? There's somebody at home watching the 5 o'clock news, but they're probably watching it on TV. So we got an audience, but it wasn't like, where do we go to advertise this? Because we need people. And back then I didn't know that all these discords that you can advertise in, and you can talk to, and you grow, and you can collab. I didn't know they existed. So that's amazing to me. So YouTube, TikTok, Kick, and then Twitch is very similar to Kick. The only difference is with Twitch, I can go live right there. It has its own studio. But if I also want to go live using one of the platforms on the list below, I can do that as well. So it really makes, a big difference. So I moved that a little up a little bit so you guys can see. With Facebook, you go live through Facebook or you go live through a third party. Epic Studios is mobile only. Okay, Bigo is mobile only, but it does have its own studio. Okay, so the only platform that I haven't used that and I'm considering right now is Epic Studios, and I have it up. I'm looking at it today, just kind of skimming through. It literally is epic. Like, it really is amazing. Like, whoever designed Epic Studios put every ounce of their heart and soul in this app to make it great. And I may just be saying that because I'm looking at it on my tablet, but I'm telling you, it's amazing from what I've seen so far. And the people on Epic Studios have super talent. There are some people, who are just talking, about different things, whatever. Like myself, I'm a certified life coach. So I can talk about anything all day. You know what I'm saying? I can analyze anything all day. And there are people like that on Epic. But then there are other people who can really play the guitar, who can really sing, who can really tell jokes, who are really comedians and stuff like that. So Epic Studios, I think they're actually looking for, certain, type of people. I don't know if they have agencies or families or anything like that. But as I watch and as I go in people's rooms and I get to know them, I'll find out more, and then I'll be able to update you guys, especially on YouTube, because my YouTube family really likes that. They love when, I tell them about the apps that I'm using and stuff like that. But I've really dwindled down, and, that's the whole reason I was like, let me go live and just talk about this, because I really have dwindled down. my phone and my tablet and my computer, even my old computer. Like some of my old friends wouldn't believe it, my friends from Periscope, but I literally just clamped my old computer out. I got external hard drive and I literally wiped that computer clean as if it like I just bought it from the store. So it's like raring to go with whatever I want to do with it. And then my new laptop, I'm being very careful not to put anything on it that I don't want. If I don't want it on here, it's not going to go on here, period. And if I download something and it's not for me, I don't like it, I get rid of it immediately because I just don't have, the time to play around with so many different apps, trying to figure out, what I'm going to do. The whole, excuse me, the whole essence of this um, is to build a community and make money, right? Most of these apps are gifting apps. Vigo is a gifting app. Epic Studios, I'm sure, is a gifting apps, and you can get gifts on other platforms, but YouTube pays for views as well. So you're not just you're well. First of all, on YouTube, you're never gonna beg for gifts or beg for money because they will clip you. They will literally shut your live stream down and you may lose your monetization if you're not monetized. The only thing they can do is take your channel away, and trust me, you can ask some of the bigger broadcasters, they have lost their channels and had to start all over. So the one thing that you will clap your hands about is with YouTube, there's no begging on YouTube. They don't play that. But the reason they don't is because they give you, really good money, and the profit share from like all the ads that they play, all day, every day, is great. For me, when I got my first, $1,000 check, I was jumping over the moon. I was like, what did I do to deserve this? And so, I got to thinking about, my top videos and what did I do in those videos? It wasn't just about true crime. It wasn't just about changing my platform and changing, my content. It was about how I was interacting with the audience, and it was about the content that I was actually bringing. And I remember the comments that said, "You're a great storyteller. I can just sit and listen to you tell a story about anything. You're a great storyteller." And I forgot about that because, my old audience wanted me to just play in makeup. If y'all knew how hot it was in Alabama during the summer, you wouldn't ask me to just play makeup. My air conditioner is on high right now, which is why I had to break out my headphones and microphone because I was like they wouldn't be able to hear me because my microphone is on sky high. I was just like you have to have more than you can't be just a one trick pony. If you're going to make live streaming and social media a career, you do have to have some major moves planned for your content. And people are visual, especially men, they are visual. Women, if something pretty and shiny catches our eye, we're there, we're looking. And so you have to know your demographic. You have to know who are you trying to, get to come to your platform. Is it the people who like techie stuff like me? Is it people who like, the shiny pretty stuff, like girls who love the makeup? Are you trying to attract people that cook? Like what's your hook? Who are you trying to attract? You know what I'm saying? You have to, know that. And as a live streamer, I've gotten into a little bit of gaming. So that's a whole nother audience for me. So if you're multi-talented, that really is a plus for you. Because when people come to your channel or they come to your page or, whatever they call it on whatever platform you're on, it's going to make them, go, wow, that person really is talented. That person really can sing. That person really can dance. You never know what you're going to get when you come here. They get excited about it. It's not just the same thing over and over and over. And you get people that are bored and you get people that start looking for other things. But if you have more to offer, that's a totally different ball game. And I think Epic Studios, I think, as I look and I study that particular platform, I think, they're right there, with me on that. And of course, you have Bigo, which is strictly live streaming. I don't think they have groups anymore. I don't think they have like, uploading the videos. But they don't have any of that anymore. It's just strictly live streaming. And you can't share any other links on Bigo. So if you have like an email address or a link tree or something like that, you can't share that. On Bigo, you have to talk about it like in your live stream or whatever. It's really that's one of the things that I don't like about Bigo. It's really hard for me to share my social media with the audience because we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that option. We don't have that. And Big O's been out for years, and they have never thought to add that to their platform. So, and I get it. The trick is to keep people on your platform as long as you can. But still, if I like a live streamer and I become a fan of that live streamer's work, I'm gonna want to know, what are they doing on Instagram? What are they doing on, Facebook or something like that? I want to support them, somewhere else, not just on this app. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, exclusivity, but at the same time, let them share at least one link. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Bigo should just, will you allow us to share a link tree link or something like that? Because that would make it so much easier, to follow the people that you like. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. Maybe they will at one point in time. I don't know. And then, of course, last but not least on the list is Patreon. And the reason I chose Patreon is because it does have a paywall, but people can join Patreon for free. And then when they see the hard work that you're doing on Patreon and they see behind the scenes footage of Patreon and all that kind of stuff, they may be moved, to bless you every month. You know, $5 is like, Starbucks to me. I'm gonna get some Starbucks every month. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do it like every day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna go, all month without some Starbucks. I'm just saying. But to honor someone by blessing them with $5 a month, it's got to be like pretty easy for the majority of people out there. And I think for the content you're getting, if you're being entertained, if you're being educated, if it pulls on your heartstrings, if it's helping you in some way, I think, why not? Because that's another stream of income for that particular person that could possibly, afford them a new camera or afford them a new phone. If they are doing this mobily, it could afford them a new laptop or a ring light or, something that they need to keep going, because this stuff does wear out. Like pretty soon I'm probably going to have to, purchase a new camera. And, you know, if you're watching us but you're not gifting us, that's hard for us because we're like, hey, I'm glad I have a community, but are y'all broke? Like, no shade, but we're kind of over here, for the money. And that's one of and I just wanted to throw this in here. Even though we love creating good content, I thank God for YouTube, because without YouTube, some of us wouldn't make any money. No shade. Some of us wouldn't make, because there are not a lot of platforms that pay you for views. And that's no lie. That's no shade. There are not a lot of platforms that will pay you for views. So the more people you get on YouTube, the more support you get on YouTube, you know that you're going to be secure, you're going to be okay. So my whole focal out of everything that you see on the list is, to remain faithful to my YouTube audience, my YouTube channel, um, and to make it grow, because I have to strive to get to that 100K. That's guaranteed money. Regardless of what you hear in the streets, in the internet streets, when you hit 100K organically, that is a guaranteed check every single month. And that takes a lot of worry off of people's minds. If, because what it means is basically, without, going into all that, what it means basically is I hit organically 100K subscribers. Subscribers equals people, human beings. And at least 10% of 100,000 people, 10% of those people are going to tune into every single video. And when they do, they don't even have to come out of their pockets with anything unless they want to, because YouTube is going to pay me for every single view. Imagine that. Imagine you going to work 8 hours a day, and imagine you take a couple of hours out of your, you know, a couple days a week, right? You get your regular paycheck on Friday, right? And then the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, whatever, day fluctuates for you that you get paid. Mine is on the 22nd. On the 22nd, that check will come. And you're like, now I can afford such and such. Now I can afford this and that. Now I can do, this other thing. Now my daughter can, join cheerleading. Now my son can, play little league. You know what I'm saying? Now I can officially be a soccer mom because I can afford all this stuff. Now I can be the one that brings snacks to the PTA meeting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it literally changes people's lives. And the bigger the family gets, the more you grow on YouTube, the more views you get, the more you get paid, the more sponsorships you get, the more paid videos that you get, because companies will then start shipping you free stuff going, hey, I'll pay you if you advertise this, because I've noticed your audience is faithful. You know what I mean? That's money in your pocket. That's more money in the bank. Being a YouTuber means that there are more opportunities out there some other apps don't give you. Twitch will do the same thing for you with like paid advertisements. Whereas if, these prayer cards right here are great, and a company, just hypothetically, well, this company sent these to me and they want me to talk about these on my Twitch, and they're going to pay me $1,500. That's amazing. You wouldn't have had that money had you not worked really hard on that Twitch channel. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with your TikTok, the same thing with, your Facebook, or, wherever people may see you. But for sure, it's going to happen on YouTube. There's no way it can't. YouTube is being watched like a hawk, by people like me and you, by streamers like me and you, by content creators like me and you, and by companies that have products that need advertising, products that need to be shared with the world. And it's a lot cheaper for companies to contact a content creator or a live streamer than to go on TV and pay them an arm and a leg. It's way cheaper. It's way cheaper. So this is the reason for all of that. So I put YouTube at the top because that now you know the reason why YouTube is the king. YouTube is always going to be the king. TikTok is a hard contender. Kick is pretty good. Twitch probably is better than Kick, but Kick is new. Kick is newer than Twitch. And a lot of these, apps do have a monetization thing. Twitch, now this is just hearsay, is a little harder to monetize. I don't know that because I just started on Twitch, so I don't know. But what I can tell you is I have more followers and subscribers on Kick than I do on Twitch, and I started both of them on the same day. So for me, Kick is growing faster than Twitch. And then you have Facebook. You can go live in a page or in a group or on your profile. And then you have Bigo, which is just a standalone app, just like the Epic is. It's just a standalone app. The only difference with streaming is you download the studio, or you can download the connector and connect it to your PC, or just go ahead and go live from your PC. There are some drawbacks though. When you're on Bigo or an app like that, that gives you the alternative, and I will talk about something that's not on the list right now, and I'll tell you why it's not on the list right now. But Bigo will not let you put anybody in the box, right? Using the studio or the connector. You can't bring anybody else up. You can do a PK. It's an option for a PK, but that's about it. That's the only way you're going to get somebody up in the box with you, is if you accept a PK. And I don't know if they're going to update I don't know if they're going to update the website. I don't know if they're going to update, the studio. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to update the connector. I just know that is your drawback. Same thing with on TikTok. I can't get the TikTok studio itself to operate. I can't get it to connect to my actual account. So I can't tell you about the TikTok studio. I can go live on TikTok through another app, and I think that would be Streamlabs right now because it won't even connect to Restream. Now, yes, Restream, does give you the option for TikTok, but right now Streamlabs is the only one that's working right. And I don't know if it's a glitch with TikTok because for me, TikTok hasn't been right since the blackout. I have not been able to get TikTok to act right on any of my phones or tablet or anything. So I just took it off because when I go live from one of my mobile devices, it crashes on me, and I can unload the get rid of it, wipe everything clean from TikTok, and then upload it again, get rid of it, upload it again. It does the exact same thing. So it makes me feel like it's the app or something to do with the application. But the studio definitely isn't acting right. And I didn't expect it to on my old computer because I don't have enough room. With this computer, it's 32 gigs. Everything has been working smoothly except TikTok and Favorited. And Favorited is the one that I left off of the list because I'm not 100% sure about it. Um, the reason that I left Favorited off the list, even though I'm a streamer on the app right now, is because it operates and functions mostly, from my understanding, from other content creators, from other live streamers, I should say, on the app, follow for follow, or favor for favor, or streamer for streamer, or share for share, or like for like, or whatever. It's like, if you come in and gift me, then I'll come in and gift you. So G for G, or if you share my live stream, I'll share your live stream. So S for S. If it's like you have to do for me, you have to, and they call it networking, but that's not networking. If you really, look up the word networking, and you will understand that that is not networking. What that is it's not organic. So you don't have a real audience if that happens. And so for me, that doesn't work. So my agency owner wants me to do a PK next Tuesday, and I told her that I would. So I put it in the Discord. You guys come out and support me if you can. I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna see if it actually gets me an organic audience. But if they start saying, follow me, I'll follow you back, and all that kind of stuff, I'm probably gonna leave. And the reason is I don't want to get stuck, doing PKs every single day. I don't, that I have content that I create because, I kind of grew up with YouTube and Periscope and podcasting when Blog Talk Radio was a thing. And so for me, starting out as a young adult, I'm 54 years old. So starting out as a young adult, it was like 2005 when I discovered podcasting. We were built for tough. We were built, my generation was built to actually put together real content. Our podcast back then, you would think that you were listening to the radio. That's how serious it was. It's not at all like, we got it today. It's too easy today, but back in the day, you would have sworn you were listening to, some such and such on the radio or whatever. Like it was really, that deep and really that important. And we were really interviewing, seasoned people. So our stuff had to be tight. You know what I mean? Like I interviewed the Force MDs. Like I had to know what I was talking about. I had to, it wasn't just like interviewing one person. It's like a whole group of people that used to be hot. They're doing a comeback record. You got to sit down and talk to all these people. Like it's a lot of work. And today, anybody can get it. Anybody can, become a celebrity. Anybody can, be famous or whatever. And you end up interviewing these people, and you have to, create the content that makes people go, oh, they're interesting. Because 9 times out of 10, it may be like the Hot Tour girl. She's not interesting. I don't even think people are tuning into her podcast anymore because, you only get like 15 minutes of fame with that, and then it's over. You know what I'm saying? You have to have longevity. And she didn't have anything to talk about. She didn't have anything. I mean, it was just like, you should have went back to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have graduated college and had like, a nursing career or something like that to fall back on, because this ain't it. Like, you just, put all your eggs in one basket and that's dumb. Which is kind of, why I thought this was important. Your live streaming and your content creation is important, because you should never put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's crazy for people to do. I know a lot of people, a couple in particular, that rely on, apps like Bigo. Um, and they spend all day on that app, all day, all day. And they don't consider getting a second device or a laptop or this, that, and the other, just to multi-stream. Even if you don't know about the apps that we're talking about today, you can still multi-stream. Even on mobile, you can multi-stream. Take Streamlabs. You can multi-stream with Streamlabs. You can multi-stream on mobile with several ones. How did I find these? I use Google. I've been using OBS, which is at the bottom of the page, for years. Now, it's a single stream. However, you can get plugins. They call them plugins to download. And I don't know how much these plugins, are. I don't have a reason to get a plugin right now, but let's say, for instance, I didn't want to use Lightstreams. I didn't want to use Rumble. I didn't want to use StreamYards. I didn't want to use, any of these things. I just wanted to use OBS. I would look into, well, let me see what plugins that are available and how many applications can I go live on using the plugin for OBS. It may be worth my while in the future, because after I start getting, paid, then it may be, very much worth my while. But when you're first starting out, I don't think it's responsible or necessary, to come out of pocket for a whole lot of stuff. I just, I don't think so. With Lightstream, which is at the top of the list, you can stream to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and it's multi-streaming. So you can get all three of those and not come out of pocket at all. With Rumble Studio, multi-streaming, and I'm streaming right now to Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook was on the list, but like I said, something, blocked it or whatever. But you should be able to stream to all four of those, multi-streaming, with studio.rumble.com, absolutely free. The third on the list is Streamlabs. It's double download, which means you can only stream to two platforms. But the reason I keep Streamlabs is because it connects to my Discord, number one. Number two, I can get TikTok on there without using the TikTok studio. So for Streamlabs, that's the plus for me. And I can really deck it out. I can make it look good. So let's say, I want to go on TikTok and YouTube, or TikTok and Twitch, or TikTok and Kick at the same time. I can't with Streamlabs and be totally fine and not glitch and all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a plus for me. Just the TikTok alone is a plus for me, because like I said, I'm having issues with the TikTok studio. And I'll probably reach out to TikTok and see what the problem is. But in the meantime, as long as Streamlabs is working for me, it's fine. Now, Streamlabs also is a download. So you will have to download the software either on your phone or on your laptop for this to work. Same thing with OBS. OBS is a download. So you will have to download OBS on your laptop or your desktop. And then what you do, there is an OBS connector that you could download on your phone. It's like a remote control type of thing. So you can do that. You can look OBS up in your app store and get that, remote access on your phone, and still use it on your laptop or your desktop. For me, it's a laptop. So OBS is a download, Restream is a download, Streamlabs. Restream is not a download; it's just a double stream. But Streamlabs is a double stream, but it's a download. And then Rumble is, just on the screen, Lightstream, just on the screen. Just open up a tab and click, 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 and you're there. Now, going back to Favorite really quick, even though it's not on the list, I want to let you know that I have had some difficulties with the Favorite Studio. Now, they are in touch with me via email, which is a huge plus, right? I was asking them, how do I hook this to, OBS? Because I heard through the grapevine on Discord that you can hook this, up with OBS and, use OBS. And they said, well, it's really more or less the OBS camera. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I want to be able to bypass the studio altogether because the studio is giving me issues. I don't like the way the studio looks, and I certainly, you could just have a better outcome, in my opinion, by using OBS. But that is not an option for us on Favorite It. So that's one minus for me. The plus was that they have a studio. The minus is it doesn't work really great. Whether you Number two, whether you go live on a mobile device or whether you go live on your laptop really doesn't help the algorithm, in my opinion. I don't really know how the algorithm works, but I know on YouTube, if I go mobile, like vertical or whatever, I get more views. But if I'm horizontal or on my laptop, I get less views, which is fine, because we have replay over here. On the other apps, you don't have replay. So I may only get 10 people, you know what I'm saying? But when I come back same time tomorrow and I look, I may have 300 that viewed the video. So it's totally fine with me. I've never worried about it because I know the numbers are going to go up on YouTube, but for everything else, there's not an option for replay, which is why sometimes scheduling is, probably in your best interest when there's no replay. Now on Twitch and Kick, they have like snippets that will be up on your channel. So when people, go by, they can see what you're doing, or, if they take the best clip. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they use AI, or not, but Kick and Twitch, they will have little clips from your show. Bigo also did that for me the other day. I didn't know that there were clips on my profile page, but it was, and I was like, oh, okay. So, Bigo was doing its thing or whatever. So, with Patreon, you're gonna put your own stuff up there however you want it because it's it's your thing. Facebook does have replay. Twitch, like I said, little snippets or whatever. TikTok, with TikTok, if you go live, you can go in the back office and you can get the live stream. They do make some snippets for you, especially if you were gifted while you were on live. They always take a picture of that. But 9 times out of 10, if you want a solid replay, you will have to download that video and upload it to your YouTube or to your Rumble or, whatever. So, that's that with TikTok. So overall, I would have to say, and this has been like 38 minutes on Rumble. It looks really good. I have my YouTube over here monitor. It's not, the prettiest thing in the world, but Rumble isn't known for being pretty and having all the, fluff and foo-foo. Rumble is known for, hey, let's get this done. Let's get this out here. People have something to say. And I think that's great in itself. So if you're not worried about filters and this, that, and the other, I would say Rumble would be for you. I think because I want to go live and I want to talk to people and I want to have communication, and whether I'm talking to people or I'm playing a game or whatever, I don't think Rumble cares. As long as you're not doing anything, insane. You know what I'm saying? You can see how many people are over here in each live stream. So I have people in Rumble, I have people in YouTube, and I have people in Twitch. Over here, I can see how much time I've spent. I can end the stream over there. So it's very similar to the other websites. It's very similar to Rumble, Streamlabs. I'm saying the look and feel, Restream, it's very similar. So I'm not mad at the Rumble. Okay, yeah, and you can see at the top Rumble Studio. So it does give you like the little what do you call it? Not an icon, but the, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm getting brain freeze right now. but it does give you that. I can see on my YouTube where it says top fans, and all that kind of stuff. So this is not, it's not bad. It's very clear as well, which I absolutely love. So it looks good. I didn't have a problem with lighting. Like I said, I have my ring light in front of me. I don't care if there's a filter or not. I never care about any of that stuff. So right now for me, um, I'm liking the Rumble Studio, and I'm liking Streamlabs because it does give me the option to go live on TikTok. And I have 7,000 followers on TikTok, so I didn't want to get rid of them. I didn't want to just say goodbye. Um, and this is weird, but that really gives me the option to eliminate Restream, and it gives me the option to eliminate Lightstream. The only reason I probably keep streaming on Restream is the hope that, it gives me, TikTok back. I don't know if it will or not. I don't know. It says try back in 5 days, but I'm approved on Streamlabs, which is just totally weird. So what I'm going to do within those 5 days is I'm going to continue to try on Streamlabs to see how it fares with TikTok, and if everything is okay, then I'll continue to use Streamlabs, since I had to download it anyway. And the plus to Streamlabs also is that it works well with OBS. So for me, Streamlabs is definitely a plus. And today, after using Rumble Studio, it's definitely a plus. So these are my two favorites. And like I said, if you go back up to the top, Epic Studios is a mobile only, and Bigo has its own studio. So if you don't mind a little learning curve with the Bigo Studio, I would say try it out. And with Epic, if you are used to going live on a mobile device, you shouldn't have any problems at all. And Epic Studios, with the look and feel, it's going to blow your mind because the graphics are amazing. They really did their big one with that. So at the end of the day, that's my synopsis. That is my commentary. That is my reaction to all of these things. So whether you are using YouTube, TikTok, Kick, Twitch, Facebook, Epic Studios, Bigo, or Patreon, do your big one. Make that content. Make your audience happy. Find the audience that's right for you, and go forth and do great things. Keep me updated, keep me posted, because I would love to, hear how you're faring with one of these apps, or if you're streaming on more of them or whatever. And I will keep you guys updated as well. That's it for me, you guys. Listen, tomorrow is Sunday, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream or not. Got church in the morning. It's Youth Sunday, and then we're cooking. So if all goes well, that'll be my day for tomorrow. And Mom has already started cooking, and I got to do the rice. So I'll probably do the rice tonight or first thing in the morning. Chicken and rice is like my favorite. So anyway, got that planned. So like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna go live tomorrow or not, but I definitely will be back Monday. So if you don't hear from me tomorrow, just look for me on Monday. All right. You guys be good, be safe out there, make great choices, stay blessed, and I will talk to you soon. I love all of you, and I'll see you later.